All right, Daniel. So tell me your heater for men's college basketball this year. You got something to get
Oh
off your
God, yeah,
chest?
guys. Um, I think the way season's men's basketball has been playing this year, I do believe that they're gonna make the NCAA tournament this year. They might be a 15th or 16th seed, but hey, that is an
Mm.
accomplishment. That brings us money to the school. I don't care if it's to the athletics program or if it's to us, but that. And I think the reason why I say that is because first half of the season we started off kind of slumpy. That's usually
Mm.
how basketball kind of was for like the past few years, but their coach, amazing. Doing fantastic with transitions. Keontae Jones is one of the best players in the Big West right now. Um, I think just like off of that, and then their role players, the way how they've been transitioning. I remember I went to one of their games. The one thing that they're really good at is fast break transitioning. So I feel like ever since they kind of uprise with that, they've been better
Mm.
overall. Like in the Big West, I think they're second now in the Big West. Or second or third. They're behind UC Irvine and UCSD. UC
Mm.
San, very good school, but they lost to them. Season lost to them their first time by like 20 something points, but they barely lost to them by 6 points this time. So they're becoming a better program this like as the year continues. Today they do play UCSB as of today, which is March 1st. I'm recording this, but also the reason why I also think that is because the momentum. I mean, yeah, I mean they just lost to UCSD, but UCSD is kind of on a roll where they're like up and down. They're kind of like in the transition where like they're playing really good schools, but CSUN is on a roll in the league right now. I think they're second now because earlier, like I'm pretty sure like about a week ago, they beat UC Irvine, which was second in the league, and they beat them
Mm.
not only a great team, but they beat them on the road. So I think it's just more of that transition of having that momentum, really, the momentum. I think them having the momentum, them going into the Big West tourney after today, because they do play UCSB, which I do believe they're gonna win today, and at
Mm.
home. And if they do win today, then the momentum's all there. And I think they're probably placed like top three in like the seeding. I'm lucky. I'm still familiarizing myself with it because I am a second year, but journalism major. Got to get into it, but
Right, right.
it's something that could be historic for us. I mean, I think it's going to be our first tourney in years, if not ever.
Mm.
But if we can get into that, then that'll be peak cinema right there, guys. But yeah, that's my I guess heater for today. I do think we can beat teams like UCSD in the Big West tourney, which is the league that we play in. And I think we can make
Mm.
a. And who knows? Like, if we can go to the tourney, who knows if we can make a run or not? Because we're low key a solid team. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
my heater for this week.
And before we wrap up, just some statistics as well. CSUN 12-5 in conference, 8-3 at home, 10-5 away, 20-8 overall. Daniel was right there, third place behind UC Irvine and UC San Diego.
Mhm.
Definitely a turnaround in the culture compared to prior years. I mean, like you said, we're both sophomores, but I remember I think we did beat UCLA last year. It was like 76-82 or something like that.
Yeah,
We do have that one. So this is a team that had pieces, and as they continue to get pieces and continue to develop, that team will continue to grow and grow.
I
You've been
agree.
to the games. I haven't. What is
Hmm.
CSUN's NBA comparison as a team? What do they remind
That's a
you of?
great question. Honestly, I don't really know. I feel like they're kind of like they don't play. They kind of play like small ball. I mean, because obviously, because the league are in, obviously they don't have like a bunch of like six. They don't have like top prospects. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they definitely can play. I want to say they're kind of like the Rockets back in like what was it 2021 when I think they played
hmm
small right with like PJ Tucker and then that
Yeah, that
year.
was like that was like 2019, 2020. Yeah,
Yeah, that year. Yeah, they played pretty well. I think they're the tallest player. I'm not. I think it's they're like 6'9", 6'8".
yeah.
But
Okay.
that's their tallest player, and that's what. But look how the way they've been impacted. Like you said, 20-8. That's the best. That's the best in program history. Best start in
Yeah.
program history. But so, like you said, the culture has changed. So, um, you kind of added to a lot of things to my heater to that. Like, yeah, the culture has changed, and that's why I think they're gonna win.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really it to be honest. I have a lot of respect for their players. I have a lot of respect for their program. I mean, they turned it around like that, so can't
Yeah.
complain. Yeah. I think
100%.
also before we end, but I think I want to add to the fact that like how you said, kind of like the culture. I think recruiting is gonna get better these next few years because
hmm
they're in Northridge. Northridge is obviously it's like a suburb essentially, but
Yeah.
it's near LA. it could become a good NIL market eventually. Not maybe not in the next 3 years, but maybe in the next decade. But
Hmm.
because you have obviously you have other schools like UCLA, USC, UCSB, but like who wouldn't want to like be in the Valley near LA? I mean that's perfect.
Yeah. You've also got like Porter Ranch near CSUN. You've got Granada Hills near CSUN. So
Hmm.
you've got areas that could have a lot of high prospect talent as well coming into those private schools. I think men's college basketball is kind of interesting. I think that we can just make this a separate video. I'm
Hmm.
looking at the men's NCAA tournament. I haven't like paid too much attention to men's college basketball. I know Cooper Flag is doing this thing on Duke. I
Yeah,
know
he is nice.
Ace Bailey's doing this thing on the
It's really,
Rutgers,
really nice. Yeah.
but it's kind of like wide open. Pause if needed, but it's kind of wide open when you think about it. There hasn't been a team in men's college basketball in a while. Even these Duke and Kentucky level teams, these Arizona level teams, these USC, these UCLA's, where it was like, oh, okay, this is clearly going to be like the Final Four. This is going to be the
Hmm.
Elite Eight. These are the teams we're expecting to see. I mean, it was North Carolina for a while. UConn is on a slump. That's one of the craziest things. Dan Hurley is doing a lot of the wrong things on the court sometimes. I think this is the first year in a minute that UConn hasn't had that plethora of talent, those 3 to 4 guys that are like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to go to the league. So I mean, CSUN can definitely get in. I think it was San Diego State a couple years back. They got to the Final Four. I believe they got to the championship game actually because it was that game winner. So CSUN, I'm not saying they could have a Cinderella run, but we're seeing how
Hmm.
wide open it is. You're seeing their team
Yeah.
that plays with good pace, good transition. They've got
Hmm.
guys that can knock it down. I'm not gonna say Golden State Warriors comparisons like 2013 Warriors,
Hmm.
but I'm a little inclined to say 2013 Warriors esque, and we're gonna talk about the Warriors on the actual episode as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is probably a time for men's college basketball to really see what they're capable of in terms of having a great March Madness. This March, this is the season where it happens. But last few years, the women have been dominating, and even still in women's college basketball, you've got Ozzie Fudd, you've got Paige Beckers, you've got Juju Watkins, you got that UConn USC rivalry coming back. There's a lot. You got South Carolina kind of in a slump,
Yeah.
not undefeated
Exactly.
anymore. They're in a fourth
I
seed. There are
think
a lot of good. No, you can go. You can go.
Yeah, I think the thing is that it's been showing a lot more, and I think it's been like this for years too, that women's college basketball has way more star power than men's
Mm-hmm.
basketball. And I think that's just a big key. But I think also, I forgot what you were mentioning earlier, but going back, I know it's all kind of like a transition, but Dan Hurley, I think it kind of shows like the Lakers kind of made a good decision with having
Yeah.
JJ Redick, because JJ Redick is like perfect for the culture. I'm not saying JJ. I'm not saying Dan Hurley wouldn't be good for the culture, but I think essentially he's kind of like in a college basketball system still, so he might have brought that to the NBA, and it probably wouldn't have worked as good culturally for us. But I think,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, JJ Redick is a good key for that. But yeah, I think people talk about like, I mean, they just USC just knocked off #1 UCLA because of Juju
Mm-hmm.
Watkins. Like I want to say a week or two ago.
Yeah.
So like, there's so many stakes to women's basketball more. But like, I'm not saying college basketball, like men's college basketball isn't. But I feel like if I were to like as a viewer and I barely just started watching college basketball, which for us is kind of like casual for us, I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna watch women's college basketball.
Yeah. 100%.
Even the way they play too, don't get me wrong. I'm not trashing men's basketball at all. Men's college basketball is amazing, peak cinema. I've watched it before, but it's not the same as it was before. But if you look at women's college basketball, the way how, dude, like, obviously they can't dunk, they can't do all this stuff, like they can't do flashy plays, but even like in a way, like they're playing efficient basketball, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of old school a little, and like I feel like as like a player who someone who played in high school, you can kind of see like how like that transition very well into college, and it's like, oh wow, this is really cool. And
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say also a team that I'm gonna actually make a prediction right now. Notre Dame will win the
Yeah,
women's national college. I'm saying it wrong, but Notre Dame will win the women's college basketball tournament. I mean, you got Hannah Hidalgo, who's
yeah.
maybe the best player right now. Who might be the best player in women's college basketball right now? Obviously, you got Azzy Fudd, you got Juju Watkins, but Hannah Hidalgo, just her pace of the game, her understanding of the game. Currently, the third seed, 15-2. They're on a 2 game win streak.
Mhm.
Excuse me, losing streak. They're on a 2 game losing streak, but still 24-4. You got North Carolina State. I mean, it's just so much more. Not even talent, but like you said, just in terms of how they play the game. I mean, The number one seed in men's college basketball is Auburn right now. Can you name somebody on that Auburn men's college basketball team who's twenty
No,
six and two? You can't,
no.
and I don't know if maybe it's just a culture shift, maybe it's just a lack of a true American star in basketball. I mean, like the last time I remember really investing in these games was like when De'Aaron Fox and Bam were on Kentucky, or you had the big three in Duke. You had Zion, you had RJ, you had Cam going up against Taco Fall. I mean, there were
Hmm.
so many storylines seeing just how these super teams are really going to play out. But nowadays, for some reason, I feel like this after probably Paulo Banchero on Duke, you're not really paying attention as much to a lot of these guys. And I think it also just shows a shift in the NBA's talent. A lot of it is more overseas. You got Wembanyama, you've got guys like Scoot Henderson, who's finding himself, but these guys aren't doing the traditional college route. They're going to G League Ignite. More of the stars that could have, even younger guys like Kaminga Moody, these are G League guys. These are not guys that necessarily came out of a 4 year or came out
Hmm.
of a 2 year college and dominated. I think the last major draft pick to go from a 4 year was like, Dalton Connect and Jaime Jaquez, even though they went
Yeah.
reverse order. But those were the last two guys that, really built a culture with the team. But even a lot of those UCLA guys, I mean, you had Amari Bailey. I think he's on the G League Hawks right
Johnny
now.
Juzang.
Juzang is on the Jazz right now. So those guys are still, I don't know what
That's
Coleman
super
is, though.
solid.
Yeah, it's obviously you got Jalen Suggs. Like you have crops of guys that are able to flourish in the NBA for their roles, but it hasn't been like a guy in college where it's like this person's gonna go to the league and they're going to have an immediate impact compared to women's college
Yeah.
basketball, where you have Angel Reese, where you have Caitlin Clark, where you have Juju, where you have Paige,
Hmm.
who people have been waiting to get to the league for years. You have this star power in this women's college basketball where we're able to see they're going to have a direct impact on the league just because of how talented they are and how much they're changing the game. I think it's kind of like the 80s and 90s era for men's college basketball where you had Magic and Bird and then you had this new crop of talent and then
Yeah.
obviously Jordan came in and then you started seeing Clyde and you started seeing Sean Kemp, you started seeing Barkley, all these guys, and the talent's only going to keep getting better and better as women's
Hmm.
basketball expands. And I
Hmm.
think it's not like men's basketball is a wash by any means. I think it speaks to how much talent there is in the league when
Yeah.
you've got a guy like a Zach Edey who was giving you like 27 and 15 in the whole tournament, and now he's on the Memphis Grizzlies, and he was my pick for rookie of the year. He's not doing a lot right now. Or you got a guy like Drew Timme or Armando Bacot. These are all guys who were
Reed
like
Shepherds.
Reed Shepard as well, because
Yeah.
Reed Shepard's nice, but he's not a guard heavy Rockets team. You're not going to get that talent. And I think
Exactly. Yeah.
on one side it's kind of unfair to these rookies because you do have guys that can make a league impact on a winning team, but they're not going to get those minutes and reps just because of the talent they're already stacked against. But on the other end, it also is just a testament to women's basketball how much, college wise they're changing the culture and the viewership.
Hmm. But yeah, I think just going on to what you said, like, I feel like men's basketball is primarily known for like having like that one underdog star. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think women's basketball is necessarily known for that. They're known for the stars during the season and then how they transition into the tournament. I think that's the one
Mm-hmm.
big difference, but I think that's what makes college basketball for both men and women so unique. And that's what makes them different. And I think that's the one thing I like about them, like the most. Women's basketball is so unique in a different way. Obviously, because like I said earlier, like they're not necessarily like the flashiest. Like obviously, like I said they can't dunk. Hopefully, in the future they could. Who knows? But like, and then you have men's basketball, flashy, dunk, windmills, but they kind of have more of the fundamentals. I feel like women's have more
Mm-hmm.
fundamentals, but men have more of like the star, not star power, but more of like the athleticism. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like as well, like kind of what you were saying earlier. I'm trying to remember. You were talking about. Actually, no, I've already said it. But like, kind of like, I feel like the two are different in the sense like where it comes to, like entertainment. Like, if you want to like watch purely basketball, women's basketball. But if you want to watch for basketball in a storyline, men's basketball. I feel like that's kind of like my view on it. But yeah.
I would agree with that. I feel like I would agree with that, honestly, just in
Mhm.
terms of you can always get that. I'm not sure if it was Kansas State a few years ago, but they got the locker room video with like them always playing the little baby song, and I think they were
Yeah,
like eight or
yeah,
nine.
that was
Yeah,
20 there.
yeah, 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 yeah. That one.
Yeah, that was a good tournament too.
Yeah, so you are gonna make probably find like those narratives of those stories. I feel like this year for men's basketball, it might be Clemson. I'm gonna just put that out
Yeah,
there right now.
I'm just lucky looking solid this year.
They're 14, but they're 24-5. I think they do got a lot of manpower that can take some teams out. So you're gonna find those stories, or you're gonna have those heartbreaking moments like the Jalen Suggs shot. We don't really got to revisit that,
Yeah, we
but
don't.
I think I did. I cry. I might have cried actually.
I
Nah,
did
I
cry.
didn't cry.
Bro, I
I
saw
didn't
the
watch.
memes, bro. Like you see the memes, bro. Like I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I was like this, bro. I was in like pure shock. I was like, no way this happened, bro.
But then Baylor put that belt on him, so I felt better.
No, dude, that satisfied me. Undefeated, yeah.
Wasn't
Undefeated,
wasn't Mitchell on that team? The guy who was
yeah.
on the Kings,
David Mitchell,
Xavier Mitchell. Yeah,
David Mitchell was on that
he
team,
on the
yeah.
Heat now. I think he fits that culture really well. But I wonder why the Kings traded him in a Western Conference where
Yeah.
you got all those guards.
I
But
think
I
it's also the thing is the Kings aren't good at developing players either. They had a guy, Kyle Guy. He was 2019. He's the one who
hmm
he's the one where he had that controversial 3-point shot against was it Texas Tech? Oh no, it was against Auburn. And he sealed the game because it was he got 3 free throws and he won
yeah,
by one.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like he got it. He shot at the buzzer. He missed, but there was a foul call. That was a
hmm
foul. Though. Looking at it at the time, I didn't think it was a foul, but looking at it, it was a foul. He was in his
Yeah.
he was in his shooting. He was in the shooting area.
hmm Yeah, but it just really depends. It kind of started off as like a CSUN hype video, but then we just talked about college basketball in general. But yeah, I think CSUN Final Four. Will we be there? Will BoxInOne be at the CSUN Final Four?
Yes, yes, dude. You will see us in the student section. You
Without
will see,
question.
bro. Without question, I'll be there.
Without question, I
That'd
will
be
be there.
crazy. I mean, that's obviously the odds of that happening are very low, but if that
Yeah.
happens, dude,
I'm gonna put down a 12 leg parlay. Trust my vision. We making
I'm like,
millions.
brother, bro.
We making millions off this
Mm-mm.
CSUN stuff. But yeah.